What will he find out there, Doctor?
His destiny. This whole thing is insane. Take your stinking paws off me, you damn dirty ape!
Yeah, back again. Here we are. DC covers. All right, this one was an adventure. See, the last one I did the Planet of the Apes television series. Everyone's been like, I didn't even know there was a television series. Well, welcome to something that's even lesser known. In fact, this whole episode is going to have graphics. No pictures, nothing like that. And it's not because I'm lazy. It's not because I don't want to do it. It's not because I'm still learning my new editing software. It has nothing to do with that. It's the fact that this is the hardest thing to find. Like, I can find you pictures of the characters. I can find pictures of all that. No problem. But I would be putting up a drawing and a animated picture of a character, and I can tell you that this is very Scooby-Doo-esque. Yes, this is an animated show. This is very Scooby-Doo-esque in that all the characters, except for the main characters, basically look the same. So there would be no need in it. And then you get to the point where I usually put up pictures of the cast. You're not going to know any of these people. I look them up, and their Wikipedia page is non-existent. You go to Wikipedia and, it says cast. This person played this person. It's blue. You can click on it and go into their Wikipedia page. You can't do that. You can do that with 3 people here. And then I did that with everybody I could and found no information. Like, this show basically did not exist. It's fantastic. I love this. And it's called Return to the Planet of the Apes from 1975. This was an animated TV show that ran for 13 episodes. And I'm going to go through the episodes and do what I did with the other TV show and give you just the 5 that are worth watching. But, I've decided on this one right here that I'm probably not going to do television shows anymore. There is one more television show that I am going to do in a series, but it's because I've seen the show and I love it and I think it's relevant to the series. So, and that's going to actually be on the next season. Oh, did he just say there's going to be another series? Yes, I did. And I've already planned it out. I've got the next 2 seasons planned out. And from there on, I'm thinking about another one. The main one I'm thinking about, though, is a TV show. And that's weird. I'm thinking about doing an actual TV show. So, but it's a really long TV show. So, I don't know if I'm going to do it or not. Look at this. I need to shave. And I had someone say that that they loved the part where I showed what shirt I was wearing because I wear cool shirts. So, I'll just... It's Batman coming up. Batman coming up to all the bad guys. You can't sit with us because they're bullies and they're mean. But I was pointing at the wrong thing. It's backwards. It's a webcam. Yeah, I did have another person say, "Why did the quality kind of drop on your?" It's because using my phone shoots in 1080p and 4K, and it uses up like 15 gigs just to do one 30-minute video. So I'm like, I don't find it worth it when I don't care so much about the quality of the video as I do the quality of the audio. And with my phone, I also can't use my handy dandy little mic. And I love this microphone. It's fantastic, and I got it for a steal. So, and I'm drinking some Dunkin' cold brew today. I think it's like vanilla cold brew or something like that. I have no idea. But enough of the exposition. Let's get right into it. I have no facts for this. I have no cast for this. This just is. So, the whole point of Return to the Planet of the Apes is 3 astronauts crash land on the Planet of the Apes, as it does, because that's what happens in this series. This time, one of the astronauts doesn't die. This is a children's television show. This was seriously made for children. But in the title sequence, in the beginning of every episode, they have this song and the Return to the Planet of the Apes. They have that. In this one, the very opening has a bunch of apes crucified upside down. I'm not kidding. Like, just go YouTube Return to the Planet of the Apes intro. You'll see it. It's insanity. Our title characters, Bill, Jeff, and Judy. They couldn't have gone with more generic names. Bill, Jeff, and Judy. And that's what we had. And they're very generic characters, too. Also, the acting in this is atrocious. The voice acting is really bad. Like I'm dead serious. There are episodes where they go, "Oh no, there is an ape." Like, I'm serious. You really have to watch it just for the cornball of it. It's fantastic. We have 2 other main protagonist characters in Cornelius and Zira. Yes, they're back, not played by Roddy McDowall and Kim Hunter. 2 completely randos play these guys, and it's not the same. We have Zaius. Zaius is back, and Zaius is kind of a good guy in this one. So I put him as an antagonist because he starts out as an antagonist, but he's kind of a protagonist. We have Urko. Urko was famous from the television show. He's in this. And we also have Nova. Nova is in a few episodes. I think she's in 3 or 4 of them. And it's very strange seeing Nova. This takes place in 3979, which means it takes place 1 year before Taylor was landed on Planet of the Apes. But that's where everything stops, because this is nothing like the series. I will go through several times in each one of these episodes, and you'll see what I'm talking about by it's different. The whole point is humans have the apes think that humans now have the ability to speak, so they're going to wipe out all the humans. That's pretty much it. So we have the opening, the very first episode. These are like 30-minute episodes. The very first episode is basically the opening of Planet of the Apes mixed with a little bit of Beneath the Planet of the Apes. What I mean by that is they all land, they're traipsing through the desert just like in part 1, but there's that weird firewall like in Beneath the Planet of the Apes. There's the lightning like in Beneath the Planet of the Apes, and there's an earthquake that splits open the ground like in Beneath the Planet of the Apes. But in this one, our female protagonist Judy is swallowed up and it closes. And dead serious, Judy is not in like the first 6 episodes. So it's kind of weird. But they even find the plant, like in the first Planet of the Apes. Then they find Nova, and Nova is wearing dog tags already. And I'm thinking, oh wait, she's gonna have Taylor's dog tags. No, she has Brent's dog tags. They're like, oh, Brent, okay. But it says Brent was born in 2079. Brent was born in the 50s or 50s. Yeah, Brent was born in like the 50s in Beneath the Planet of the Apes. So, is it the same Brent? We do find out, but not in this episode. So, and here's where you got Planet of the Apes, and this is where this show just goes way off. They drive. The apes have jeeps and vehicles. They live in a city that has buildings, and it's very modern. They have tanks and a full army battalion. And Bill is taken. Jeff and Nova escape, and that's actually where episode 1 ends. This is a full story. This is not just a serial, so it's very cool in that case. But this whole they have cars and they live in a modern city is actually closer to the source material. In the novel Planet of the Apes by Pierre Boulle, they have a modern city. They have modern technology. So this is actually closer to Pierre Boulle's vision, closer to what Rod Serling wanted to do. So it's cool. But episode 1, highly recommended. It's a good episode. It's one of the 5. Next up is episode 2, and it's one of the 5. It was good. It's called Escape from Ape City, where Bill has to escape from Ape City. And he first talks to Cornelius and Zira, and they help him escape. She does have a line in there like, oh, he scored high on the Hopkins manual dexterity test. And that's a human dexterity test, but okay, whatever. Right? It made me laugh. They don't call him Broad Eyes, they call him Blue Eyes. And Cornelius and Zira have never seen an ape. Or I've never seen an ape. Of course they've seen apes. Have never seen a human before that can talk. So there's something new there. Bill does escape with the help, and we find out that the apes have telephones. They talk on the telephone. It's like, okay, cool. All right. And they all escape, and they meet up, and the group of humans that Nova lives with, they're going to help them survive by maybe fortifying where they live and all that. Nova is the only one that can talk, but she can't talk well. She can only say one word at a time. But they're going to help these guys out. They're basically cavemen. They wear loincloths and everything. Episode 3. Episode 1 and 2, I'm like, man, this is actually a pretty good show. This is going to be good. Wow, this is impressive. And then the show goes downhill. So the episode 3 was the Unearthly Prophecy, where we meet the Underdwellers, which is basically the Beneath the Planet of the Apes telepaths, except they're more advanced. They can shoot lasers out of their eyes, and they can actually astral project people into other places, which is pretty crazy. They're looking for something to help the humans, and they find a satellite, and they're like, oh no, that couldn't have been built by apes. It's too advanced. I'm like, but they have cars and technology. How is that too advanced? But whatever. They find the New York ruins, so they find out in this episode, oh, we're on Earth. It's like, yeah, you are. The underground cult, the Underdwellers, they have Judy, so we see Judy again. They have the laser eyes that make you go to sleep for some reason. I don't know. And Judy's going to help them escape. But there's a point when they're all escaping. Judy, Bill, and Jeff, and they're on a monorail, or they're on a railroad. Think Temple of Doom, Indiana Jones. Like that. And holy crap, this was the worst. Because they're riding away, and the cult is shooting them with their laser eyes, and they use the same scene 6 times. They have one guy going and goes pew, 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 and it shows lasers hitting wood, and then they show the guy pew, 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 and then the lasers hitting wood, and then pew, 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 and the lasers hitting wood, and it does this 6 times for a grand total of 9 minutes. And I'm like, this has to be a mistake. This has to be on loop or something. But no, that's the way it was. It was so bad. But they escaped, so it doesn't matter. And then when they do escape, Judy disappears. And they're like, wait, Judy! And it turns out she was just a projection. Okay. Episode 4, another bad one called Tunnel of Fear. They gotta sneak back into the Ape City to get help from Cornelius and Zira. There is a moment where there's a truck driving ape, and he's listening to the radio. So these apes have music, and it's country music, and it's super racist. It's like super racist against humans. Like, I don't think I am a humanoid. It's like, this is so awful. And I'm like listening to the lyrics like, wow, dude, this could be considered racist. And it's fantastic. I mean, I'm not saying racism is fantastic or racism is funny, but this was funny. Like, wow. So, but the acting in this one is so bad. Like, either everyone doing voice acting in this episode was asleep, or they just did not care. Because it was like, okay, yeah, there's an ape coming. Here comes the battalion. Look out, there's a bomb. I am so serious that is exactly the way it is. And this show reminds me so much of C-Lab. Not C-Lab 2021, because C-Lab 2021 was hilarious. but the original C Lab, where they use a lot of still frames and just move the bottom jaw or move the lips, so it's just like a big close up of their faces, and they're like, "We've got to get out of here," it reminds me of that. But the apes know where they're at, and they're planning to attack. That's the end of the episode. Next up was episode 5, which was called Lagoon of Peril. This is where we find out that they have newspapers. It's like extra, read all about it, and it's Ape City News. And they have a TV station, and it's apes like telling the news. It's like, today in Ape City, and he's like a reporter and everything. And I'm like, they have to have a satellite to have this. This isn't the Flintstones. And it's like, all right. There is a lot of Flintstones-like things in this. There's a lot of puns in this show. Like Zira's reading a book, The Complete Works of William Apespeare. And there's an episode where they pretend to do something. Like, that was some great acting. You deserve an Academy Award. I'm like, this is stupid. But at the same time, it's brilliant. And I'm like, I can tell you right now, I'm not going to tell you the rating, but this, spoiler alert, dude, this was way better than the 1974 TV show. This was entertaining. Maybe it's just like the cartoon child in me, but it was good. Anyway, we found out there's going to be a revolt against humans. Apes just want humans to go. Cornelius and Zira send a warning to Jeff, Bill, and Judy, or Jeff and Bill, because Judy ain't there. And they have a little signal where they have a mirror and they shine the light and it reflects. I'm like, oh, that's 3 flashes. That's a warning. So the apes are looking for the humans, but this whole time the underdwellers are kind of messing with the apes. So it's all right. And there's a monster underwater, and the apes can't find the humans because of the warning. They got out of the caves. It's like, all right. So they can't find the humans, and that's actually where it ends. Episode 6 was one of the best ones. I actually liked episode 6. And it takes place on this ice mountain with this monk who worships a giant ape statue. What was the name of that? Let's go back and look. Kygor. Kygor was the name of it, and there's only 2 episodes with this monk and this giant ape, and both of them are incredible. So, episode 6, Terror on Ice Mountain. Cornelius and Zira find hot air balloon plans. I'm like, oh, we've got to build this. It's like, oh yeah, I've always wanted to build a hot air balloon. And I'm like, how do you know what a hot air balloon is? Whatever. So they look for Bill and Jeff to make it. It's like, Bill and Jeff would be able to make this. They know about ships and stuff. So they go and they find it. And they create the balloon, and Cornelius is like, I want to ride in it. And it's like, okay, so they're riding, but there's a storm, and they get caught up on top of this ice mountain where we meet the monk, who is like, oh, well, there's a giant ape statue. And like, okay. And the apes are looking for, not ape, but they're like, they crash, and there's different apes in this one. It's not exactly the military, but they still hate humans. So they're on this ski lift, and it's a working ski lift, and they go up to the top, and they're pursued by the other apes. But before they can get them, the giant ape statue cracks, peels, and it was just ice, and it's freaking King Kong. It's a gigantic ape, and it looks just like King Kong. So you're like, oh, it's freaking King Kong, and he saves the day. He actually causes an avalanche and makes the bad guys go away. It's like, well, thank you, Kygor. So yeah, great episode, loved it. And then the next episode's terrible. Episode 7, River of Flames. I'm speeding through these because there were 30-minute episodes. There's not much I can say. So Judy just magically shows up in the cave where they're living. And it's like, hey, the underdwellers need some help. And it's like, didn't they try to kill us? And they're like, wait, this is our chance to get Judy back. So they go and see him. We find out that money is a thing for apes. They're like, oh, I don't get paid enough for this. And apparently, like, I will give you money to do this. It's like, okay, so money's a thing for ape. Okay, cool, that's nice. So the underdwellers are like, yo, we need your help. We need some kind of laser because the volcano we're living in is bubbling up with lava, and we need the lava to flow out. So we need to put a hole in this mountain. And they're like, okay, well, we happen to have a laser. Of course they do. The humans do. They have a laser. But they're like, but if we help, we get Judy back. And they're like, no, you can't have Judy. And they're like, no, we're going to, they work it out. They're like, okay, if you help us out, you get Judy back. But the apes actually end up taking the laser, but they get it back. It's no big deal. It's like a 5-minute thing. We find out they have movies. Apes have movies here. And he was like, have you seen that new one, The Ape Father? It's like, yeah, the Godfather exists, but it's apes. Nice. I wonder if it's as good as the human version. It's a classic. But they are cutting a hole in the mountain. They cut a hole in the but it's not big enough, and the laser gun don't work. They're like, oh no! But the apes finally find out where they're at. They're like, blast them! They get them with the howitzers, big bombs, boom, and they blow a hole in the mountain, and it causes the lava to leak out, and it destroys everything. It destroys all of the military. And they're like, oh crap! And the duelers are like, all right, you did it. Well, if you ever need our help, we're here for you. By the way, here's Lucy. And now Lucy has joined the main cast. So it's just a really cheesy episode. I didn't like it that much. The next one, episode 8, was called Screaming Wings, and this is where it gets really crazy, and it's such a bad episode. So the apes have a fighter plane. They find an old fighter plane in a hangar, and they rebuild it, and they now have a fighter plane with bombs and guns. Cool. And this is where we also get Zaius versus Urko, where Zaius is like, no, we can't have the plane. It's a weapon of destruction. We can't do that. We're becoming human. And it doesn't work out. But they hate each other now. And everyone's trying to stop the plane. Humans, apes, everybody. And Judy ends up, she's a pilot, so she steals the plane. And she goes by and destroys all the other planes they had in the hangar, so they can't make another one, and they steal the plane. And Urko's in trouble because he lost the plane. But the humans keep it. It's their plane now. And that's why it was kind of dumb, because it really went nowhere. Except for the fact that they got a plane. Episode 9, Trail to the Unknown, was a really good one. That's one of the 5. I actually like it. Humans are escaping the caves. They're gonna float down the river, and because Urko's coming to attack, he knows where they're at. And Zaius is actually Cornelius and Zira's friend now. He's like, he's kind of like, I know you know where the humans are. No, okay, cool. We're gonna pretend like we don't all know. But they get out, and money here is named. It's actually called Simeon Silver. Just like, good name. But the guerrillas are like, well, if they don't let us go attack the humans, we're going to attack the council and we're going to take over. But they end up saying, no, you can go ahead and attack the caves. But there's a long journey for the humans, and they meet Brent. Nova's wearing the dog tags of Brent, and it's not Brent from Beneath the Planet of the Apes. It's some other guy who actually knew Nova as a child. He has been on Earth this Earth, the Planet of the Apes, for 15 to 20 years. And he's like, yeah, I've been here 15 to 20 years. I knew Nova when she was a child. And, but the thing is, he doesn't know there's apes. So for some reason, he's like, yeah, let me tell you about what else is on this planet. And he's like, huh? And it's like, okay, how have you been here 15 to 20 years and you don't know? And he's helping them move, but after this, he just disappears, never to be seen again. But he ends up taking him to the clearing where Cornelius said, this is where you need to build your home. And they build a giant castle, and the apes attack it and fail. They fail horribly. And that's actually the end of that episode. And what I meant by, well, Brent just disappears for the rest of the time. You never see him again. So, I don't know, maybe he died. I have to turn the page, because we're on the last 4. Episode 10, Attack from the Clouds. This one annoyed the ever-loving piss out of me. There's a dragon, and the apes think it's something the humans made, and they're like, oh, well, that's a fly. And the humans are like, oh, that's a flying reptile. That's not good. And the humans have to go back for the plane so the apes don't get it. And Urko thinks that an ape stole the plane because humans aren't smart enough to fly a plane. Okay. They do get the plane back, and they have has fights with the dragon, plane versus dragon, and the dragon gets driven away. That's actually the end of the episode. But the thing that annoyed me was every time the dragon was on the screen, he did this screeching thing, and it was really annoying. Like, so annoying. And it's like, and I have my headphones on, and I'm just like, it's so bad. Episode 11, Mission of Mercy. This was number 6. This actually didn't make the top 5, but it was number 6 because it was a decent episode. Nova gets sick with streptococcus, which is basically strep throat, but it's when strep throat gets really bad, it starts attacking your lungs, and they actually go over that. They need fuel for the plane so they can fly to get the cure from Cornelius and Zira, and they come back, they get the cure, she's cured, everything's cool, but the apes want the plane back. Like, we have to get that plane back. So I didn't spend a lot of time on that one, but it's a good episode. I liked it. It's all about Nova. Episode 12, Invasion of the Underdwellers. This was a good one too. It just actually I would actually put it on par with the previous one, like with Nova, because it was actually a lot of intrigue. This is where we find out that the apes have police with dispatchers. Okay, cool. And the gorillas are posing as underdwellers and robbing the other apes, so they'll make them think that it's the underdwellers, and the council will let them declare war on the underdwellers. The underdwellers being the telepathic mutants underneath. But they end up robbing a museum, and it works. The apes declare war. They're going to go kill all the underdwellers, but the humans find out the truth that it is the apes, and they show Cornelius and say, hey, you got to get Zaius in here to find this. And they find the stash, and it all works out. Zaius finds out the truth, but it's a little too late, as they what's his name, Urko, has already made a bomb, and he sent it to the underground layer, but the humans turn it around and blow up the apes. So they save the day. And here's the thing. No one dies in this show. Not one person dies in this show ever. It's a children's show. So, and finally, episode 13, Battle of the Titans. This was my favorite episode, and this is the last episode. It was wicked good, and it takes place on Ice Mountain. Basically, Urko is now disgraced, and he's lost everything. He's lost his army, but there's a new guy that takes over, and he's even more ruthless, and he's going to attack the humans. So the humans have to go look for a book that proves that humans were the intelligent ones at one time before the apes. So where is that? It's on Ice Mountain. So they go all the way out there. Cornelius and Zira follow, or Cornelius follows. And how do they get there? Well, they can't use the plane, so they're going to use the balloon. They use the balloon to fly back to Ice Mountain, but the dragon is back, and it's really screechy and awful. The apes are going to attack the castle, but the plane comes in and fights off. Judy comes in, fights them off with the plane, works out. They run. And then Kygor, King Kong versus the dragon happens, and King Kong wins. And then he sits down, and it's like, oh man, something happened. I think he's hurt. He needs help. And he's like, I know how to help gigantic apes. The human actually says, I know how to help gigantic apes. And he goes, and then it just cuts to them talking, the humans and the apes talking, and they're like, oh, thank goodness you knew how to fix gigantic apes. It's like, okay, I mean, you're not going to show it, all right, whatever. But they get the book, and they're like, yeah, we're going to show this to the council, and the council is going to know, and it's going to cause peace between the humans and the apes. And that's where the show ends. So you don't ever find out if the book helped, because that's it. So it was not bad. I got a text message from... There he is. Sorry. Yeah, I answer text messages on my show. I don't care. So this show, like I said, was better than the television show. Way better. But it still was not as good as any of the movies so far. Even though Battle was absolutely terrible, this was still not as good as that, just because the story just bounces all over the place. You just heard me talk about it. I've described every episode. But still, though, I give it 6 out of 10. So it gets the same rating as Battle for the Planet of the Apes, but it just wasn't as good. Still going to go into the rankings and all that, but like I said, no characters from either of these shows are going to go into the character rankings because I still find that unfair. That we spend 4 to 5 hours with these characters and we spend 12 hours with these. It's like, that's more of a backstory. It's a little unfair. But yeah, so yeah, I don't think I want to do television shows anymore. That was, except for on the next season, I'll do one. But not a bad show. I liked it. But next, we're going back to the status quo. We're going to do movies again. So the next episode is Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes, which is a mostly maligned, just hated movie. Like, a lot of people hate this movie. There are people out there who says this is Tim Burton's worst movie. I'm not in that group, and here's a little thing about me. I'm not a huge fan of Tim Burton. Yes, he's a talented guy, but I feel he's kind of a one-trick pony. He's like, oh, let's take this story and make it dark. That's what he does, and it's like, I love Sleepy Hollow. I love Edward Scissorhands and stuff like that. Pee-wee's Big Adventure, but for the most part, he doesn't do anything for me. But I thought his Planet of the Apes wasn't bad. I mean, the cast itself is freaking stellar. Tim Roth is in it. Mark Wahlberg, Estella Warren. It's a Tim Burton film, so of course Helena Bonham Carter's in it. You got a ton of stars. Oh, Michael Clarke Duncan. I'm sure I'm missing somebody, and I'm sorry, but I mean, I'll get to it whenever the show starts. But I did not think it was that bad. So that's next, though. Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes. After that, we will do the new trilogy, Dawn, Rise, and More. I'm hoping to get those cranked out since I got this done today, which was my plan. So that means tomorrow will be Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes. Wednesday will probably be Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. Friday will probably be Rise of the Planet of the Apes, and Saturday will probably be War for the Planet of the Apes. And that will be the end of the Planet of the Apes series. So, very excited, much excited. Yeah. So, I'll get to the thank yous. Thank you for watching again. DC Covers I'm really enjoying this. I'm honestly excited to get out of Planet of the Apes because it doesn't seem like anyone cares about this series, so I'm not getting a lot of views. I do believe that with my next series, I'm going to get a ton of views because it's a very popular series. So thank you for watching this and sticking through it, because I know it can be a chore, especially listening to me prattle on. But yeah, thank you, and join me for Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes. Ooh.